If we are to believe what is coming into our faces recently in the wrestling world, once fans are allowed back into the building, WWE is planning to make some major changes. And we're going to see it at SummerSlam, and we're going to see it right after the hottest events of the summer, when we have the WWE draft. They're going to get out the big guns, and they're going to start pulling the trigger. And I would absolutely love to see this, and as I've said in around about 7,892 videos, WWE really needs to hit that creative reset button, because the last 16 or so months, well, frankly, they have been exhausting. And I'm sure there are hundreds of these that we can talk about, but I have broken it down to 6, and I believe these 6 are major changes that WWE needs to make right now. Why? Well, I mean, the short answer is because it makes the product better, but still, here's why. We shall do this in list format because, of course, also I'm not really sure how else we would do it. And my first one in at number 6 is we gotta get rid of Hell in the Cell. I don't mean just for a little bit, I mean you gotta take it round the back of the shed and shoot it right in the head. That's not going to work because it's a cell, so get those clipper things and start clipping away. So I'm talking about no pay-per-view, no stipulation, no nothing, and I want to apply this for all of these kind of things, aside from Money in the Bank, because I understand that still has power. But let's face it, and we'll use Hell in the Cell as an example. Right now, it is just so lame. It's just something that's kind of there, we see it all the time, and it never ties into the flipping story. I do get why we went crazy with the thing, but now the purpose of it has been removed, because the whole idea was, well, this feud is out of control, how can we stop these two wrestlers from being absolute jabrones? We'll lock them in this prison, and they can finally sort themselves out. But seriously, go back to 1997 and watch how Shawn Michaels sells the first ever one. He is flipping terrified, and now on Raw, you just get guys going, yeah, I'll go in Hell in a Cell, I don't care. The whole point is that you're meant to care. And that's not to say you can't bring these things back in the future, and this is where you'll doubly get benefit from it, because when you do, if you do tie into a narrative that you're telling, not only are fans going to be more invested, but they'll also be excited, because we all love nostalgia. But in order to get there, you honestly gotta tank this for at least 2 years. That's right, 24 months. We go through 2022, nothing. We go through 2023, nothing. Then in 2024, if you have some hot program that you need to blow off, bring it back. Moving on to number 5, I will keep this nice and easy in statement form. Make Big E Mr. Money in the Bank. I get there's a few good options for the briefcase this year, but I'm just tired. I'm tired of waiting. I'm tired of the whole, well, he's not ready yet. I'm tired of not taking chances. And maybe I wouldn't feel so passionate about this if Big E's and Aleister Black's feud hadn't been taken and run into the ground, but it was run into the ground, and therefore I'm passionate about it. Don't make me get on my high horse about the whole, oh, that game wouldn't be any good if Batman wasn't in it. He's flipping in it, and it's a Batman game. But in my very humble and stupid opinion, I think Big E deserves his shot at the top of the card. And don't get me wrong, don't get me confused. That doesn't mean I all of a sudden think he's going to be a massive success or he's going to become the best champion ever. But I do think he at least should be given a shot to see what he's able to do. The main event scene also needs a massive reshuffle, and I think he would be a great Universal or WWE champion. And anyone saying, well, we shouldn't do that because we've never done it, that is so boring. Like I say, I'm so tired of that. I don't want to worry about that crap anymore. I mean, this guy can talk. He's really weird in the best possible way. And he also looks like he could kill you. I mean, what other box would you like him to tick? Also, where's the evidence to suggest that he couldn't do this? There isn't any, because as far as I'm concerned, every single segment we do put him on, he smashes it out the park. So if we are about to reintroduce fans, let's also establish Big E as a proper big time dude, and then we can all sit back and watch. Number 4, and actually this one is all but confirmed, new sets for Raw and SmackDown. Now this is a little unfair because when SmackDown moved to Fox, they got that weird claw thing coming out of the stage, and Raw got the skateboard ramp, but unfortunately, that is just what's happened over the last little while. The pandemic came in and it crapped over all our dreams, which is why now we need to shake things up again. But also, as innovative as the Thunderdome was, I think whatever we can do to be the complete opposite of that is going to be beneficial for everybody, so you don't tune in on a Monday, Friday night and just think of that guy pushing cheer.mp3. Because we are going to fire out the other side of this mess. Give me something new, give me something that smells fresh, and maybe give me something that is maybe just a little less LED boards. That's me being a massive hypocrite. I really enjoy the LED boards, but I do admit that moderation is key, as opposed to getting every single LED board in the world and just sticking it on a ramp. I want it to feel like a new dawn, like in July, August, September, whatever it may be. I want it to feel like, oh, what's this crazy new wrestling world that I'm existing in? because that will just make me more interested. Humans, very simple people. So pushing that one step further, as we move on to number 3, let's also do that for the damn pay-per-views. You bet your ass. I still understand why WWE shied away from this, other than financial reasons. But when you do tune into a big show, and it looks exactly like Raw, and exactly like SmackDown, but we've just got a different color palette, well, I think that's really disappointing. It's how my parents feel about me. Just shame. I mean, I want to go back to those days where Backlash had those swinging blades, or when Vengeance just had a massive V. And that sounds like absolute baloney, but WWE is so good at production, they made it work. It just gets your visual gland all pumped up, and that is so important. Like, look what AEW did recently. They had that MMA fight, and it did an incredible rating. And I'm sure there was some intrigue there, but also if you did turn on, you're like, whoa, I'm watching pro wrestling, but it looks like mixed martial arts. Even if it's just for 30 seconds to a minute longer, you hang around because your eyes, these things right here that Rey Mysterio has one of, is having a good time. And maybe it just comes down to the fact that it looked cool, it looked hip. I shouldn't have said that, because when you say things look hip, you no longer are cool, but also look at me. Ain't no way anyone described me as that anyway. But I tell you what, it's not hard, and neither is number 2. No more shaky cam. Now, I will admit this doesn't annoy me as much as others. I suppose I watch so much professional wrestling, I've just been able to ignore it. But I do understand that 1, a lot of people absolutely hate it, so that can't be very good. But also 2, we have been doing the shaky cam for a long old time, so once again, it's time to do something different. I mean, you can dress the whole thing up like it's something new, but if it's the same guys at the top of the card, and we've still got a cameraman going nuts when somebody hits somebody else with a steel chair, then you may as well be watching Raw from 2019. So you get no change of pace, and it's essentially a trick, and WWE doesn't need to do this, and many times throughout their existence, they have been at the forefront of presentation and production because they're so damn good at it. So don't you come walking into my house and saying they can't come up with this. Of course they can. We've seen it time and time again. This has been long overdue anyway, but as we do come out the other side of this mess, I just think trying to create a brand new bubble is so crucial to everything. Now look, I hope we never have to go through that again because it was absolutely awful, but let's learn from it, let's grow from it, and let's have people tune in and being genuinely shocked and genuinely surprised that this is world wrestling entertainment, because it doesn't look like it at all. And that's not a bad thing, it's a good thing, as DDP used to say, because again, you can kind of go back to Raw from the mid-90s, and aside from the steps forward when it comes to HD cameras, it ain't all that different. I mean, if you do that as well, you will create a buzz in seconds. If I sit down to watch SmackDown, all of a sudden it hits me, bow, like a ton of bricks, of course I'll text my friends going, hey dude, have you seen SmackDown? You should check it out. And they will, because they listen to me. No, they probably don't, but it's what I like to think. So that sounds pretty good to me, as does what is coming in at number 1. And this one is so easy, it's so nice, and I get it's not a big deal, but once more, let's jump on the horse and ride it, and finally kill off the 24/7 belt. R-Truth is a damn hero, I love him, and he's absolutely one day going to the Hall of Fame, but all of this is just done, and there's a small chance it already is over, because Tozawa rolled up R-Truth around about 78 years ago, and we haven't seen it since. But that's probably because Vince McMahon forgot about it, and as soon as he does remember, these two will be booing backstage doing the same old thing. And if you want to keep it around as well, that's fine, but do it on social media. Use it for PR exercises like we have done over the last year or so. But it's just taking up television time now, and I genuinely don't know anybody who's still enjoying it. And the reason it's so important is because you want to have your focus on other areas in order to improve the product. And you have a few people that are going, we need that 10-second segment on Raw that ends with the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, then it's not all hands on deck. And I'm sure a number of you tuned into this video because you wanted to hear me scream, no more scripted promos or long-term storytelling. But we know that WWE needs to do this, and also, those are things you have to introduce, quite ironically, over the long term. You can't just all of a sudden go poof and achieve them in 24 hours. And that's when we should do them. I know when this video is going to go live. Let's say it goes live on a Saturday. On Sunday, WWE should instigate all of these. I understand that's not possible because there's a lot of red tape, but at least write it down on a piece of paper, and at the top just put a headline like, must happen. For now, I will take it and I'd also massively appreciate it. Now, more importantly than all of this, make sure you go into the comments and let me know what major changes the WWE need to make right now. That's the proviso, that's the rule. They have to be able to make them right now, or at least, when we get fans back in arenas, for them to go, wow, there it is. Also, like the video, share the video, and subscribe. Head over to whatculture.com where you can read articles to see if they are going to do this stuff or if they're not. Come say hello on social media. And if you are already on YouTube, which you are, how else are you watching this? Make sure you click another video. My name's Simon What Culture. Thank you for watching me as always. And just to reiterate it in case you didn't get it before, I really like Big E. I think he's really fun. I think he's a really good wrestler. And at least by a year's time, I want him to be the damn world champ. So I put myself on the line. We shall see what happens. See ya.